Alright everyone, Nate and Beth coming your way, this time to review Friday the 13th, the series, Season 2, Episode 3 by the name of...
And now, the news.
That was the old radio tuning in. I'm an old-time radio enthusiast, incidentally, and I like old-time radio shows, and I actually really love... I've got pretty much this exact kind of replica radio myself. I want to
That's
say it was a...
never going to be in my sight after this episode.
Oh, come on. I want to say this is called possibly a cathedral radio, but back in the good old days, first half of the 20th century, man, good music, good movies, good fashions, good pretty much everything except for them pesky world wars. But yeah, this episode revolves around a cursed old, 30s or so cursed radio.
20s, 30s.
Yeah. 30s, 40s cursed radio that basically, I guess it was kind of confusing at first. I guess what we come to understand, like, it'll bring you what you want if you sacrifice to it.
Yes.
So you might not want to describe it, but I'll give you the opportunity to describe how this episode begins. All right, she doesn't want to. This episode, basically the whole thing takes place at a insane asylum, and
the criminally insane.
These people are the criminally insane, and it begins with some doctor. It looks like he's torturing her, but I guess it's some kind of therapy. This one psycho chick has some, for some unknown reason, has a fear of snakes. He's got this little snake.
It's not unknown. Somebody tortured her by putting snakes in her bed. That's what she screamed out.
So this woman, this doctor has a little snake in her face, and he's doing some kind of... Beth just flinched, or whatever you want to call it, just then. Maybe I should skip this scene.
I don't know, go ahead.
Anyway, this is therapy with this woman, and she's going crazy. I can't remember how did the scene ended. Did she faint, or what?
She screamed out what happened to her with the snakes, and he was like, so you're not really scared of the snakes, you're scared of the person who put the snakes in your bed, and I think she killed him because he put the snakes in her bed.
So did they say that she's cured then, or is just they made progress? Or
they
I
made
can't
progress.
Remember. Okay. So then, do we see later on, a little bit later,
this radio gets put into her room and it turns on?
But do we not see who puts it in there at this point?
It's shadow
mysterious
figure.
Shadow
figure takes the radio out of a vault and puts it in her room, and the radio plays something really nice music, and now the news.
And it predicts what's basically going to happen to.
Yeah.
This woman or whatever. Oh, no, never mind. It said,
breaking news,
in the crazy hospital, and there's snakes all over the place or something. I can't remember exactly.
In a snake infestation in ward, whatever she was in, and the snakes are crawling everywhere, and it looks like it's actually happening, but apparently it's just all in her mind, and she dies of fright. So, and then the radio mysteriously disappears.
So the radio made this woman think there were snakes crawling all over, and she died. So this is the sacrifice for, I guess, the upcoming whatever.
Because when she died, then this other woman, Dr. C, I can't think of her real name, Dr. Carter maybe, one of her criminally insane mass murders is instantly cured. The thought of violence makes him sick or whatever. I mean, it's complete opposite. But for every time the radio kills this one specific doctor's patients, I can't remember his name, but
they don't matter.
The female doctor gets a notch in her belt for being curing all these incurable patients.
So she's well on her way to the Nobel Prize for whatever, curing all these people, but little beknownst to people. Yeah, it's pretty much divulged not long after the beginning that this woman is the owner of the radio and is the one doing it.
Right, because Mickey and Ryan receive an answer to
Nikki.
Mickey. Mickey and Ryan receive an answer to the mailer saying that this old gentleman checked himself into said insane asylum with a radio, and then 3 days later he committed suicide. Why you would be admitted into an insane asylum with a radio is beyond me.
Little creative license.
Creative licensing there.
License.
And the radio was never licensing, license, whatever. Lying. I was saying something.
Oh,
and
shoot.
Messed me up.
I messed her up again, everyone.
But that the radio wasn't returned with the rest of his effects, and so Mickey and Ryan are trying to figure out how to get in to snoop around and figure out where the radio is. And Ryan goes over this fence.
It turns out to be electric fence, and
I called it.
Almost dies.
And then Nikki gets in trying to be some reporter, and she doesn't get very far, except the attention of like a serial rapist killer. And yeah, it's
So it's a flip flop back and forth between this radio killing people and this woman like miraculously
curing them.
Every other person, killing every other person. So I do want to say, I don't want to forget to mention that I think for the first time, since like the pilot episode of season 1, Mickey can be seen in a tank top braless, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, she wasn't wearing a bra, you could kind of tell.
Because I remember when we saw the first pilot episode, I'm like, well, if Mickey's like wearing the tank top all the time, this might be, might be good. I don't think Beth is itching herself.
Legs.
I don't think we've seen her in a tank top since the pilot episode, so maybe they're trying to get them ratings up here at the beginning of season 2. But
getting into some scantily or very tight clothes.
Honestly, it was this episode was kind of confusing for me until maybe the middle to the end. It's just like when Beth said, "Oh, so it's sacrifice for a cure, because I didn't understand why some people were dying, some people were
being
cured.
Released.
Yeah.
Because she had to kill. The very last announcement was this just in. Dr. Carter must sacrifice 3 more people before 11:55 p.m. this evening, and she's basically running out of time.
Wonder why it'd be 11:55 and not just midnight. That's funny.
I don't know, whatever the numbers
unless you got the number wrong. Are you sure it was
11:55? Because 11:56 it said,
"Oh,
we're sorry, this program has been canceled due to her inability to complete her tasks," and it was the end of the episode.
Well, not really. The end of Dr. Carter.
Dr. Carter. Well, because she was trying to. I got to rewind a little bit. So remember that Ryan tried to get into the insane asylum by climbing over an electric fence, and she happened to be the one to treat him. So he's back, and he wore rubber gloves to go help Mickey out because she got invited to this desolate ward.
Rubber gloves to go over the electric fence.
Yeah, so Mickey got invited into the ward by supposedly the good doctor, but the good doctor was dead. And so Mickey got pulled into a room with like mattresses and stuff for the
that's romantic. It's just some basement, scuzzy basement with some just padding on the floor for their love. Ugh.
Yeah. So Ryan actually follows in right after. And they find Ryan. It's like, oh, well, he tried to come over the electric fence and got electrocuted before. Now we're just going to make it happen and make it look like an accident. And this time he'll actually die.
So instead of the woman being the damsel in distress, Ryan's the damsel in distress.
Ryan's always the damsel in distress.
Ooh.
Sorry, Ryan's kind of pansy. But everything... So, I guess somebody turns off the
Nothing against you,
power.
John D. LeMay. I'm sure you're listening.
Everything against him. He's such a pansy.
Thank you for your autograph on the Jason Goes to Hell poster on August 13th, 1993 in an undisclosed theater somewhere in Minnesota, opening night of Jason Goes to Hell.
But this is about Friday the 13th, the TV series, and now the news.
Now the review.
Yeah, and now the review. So I don't know. I mean, it had its good points, and I just didn't like the beginning because I have a phobia of snakes, and that just happened to be like not a good introduction for me. But once we got past the snakes, everything else was cool. I think it's kind of clever how the one doctor was killing her rival doctor and saying, "Oh, you're just mad because I'm a woman and I'm more successful than you. What do you have against me?" And he discovered that she was using the radio that Mickey and Ryan were looking for, and she ends up killing him somehow. She
Yeah,
it was a very vague kill.
I can't remember.
Oh no, it wasn't. Okay, so the guy across the room from the sexually insane one was like totally Manson kind of killer. Like he
and she wheeled
hated
him.
visitors.
She wheeled him in there on a gurney, and then he just ripped him.
Probably ripped him to shreds.
Ripped him to shreds. Okay,
That was kind of a gory kill.
Beth remembering that was funny. Oh no, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
Is probably the most gruesome one, and for the record that we're talking about gruesome, we've got it looks like there's 5 total deaths. I mean, one of them was like the accidental death of one of her henchmen, and with the paddles.
Yeah, trying to kill Ryan with the paddles. She ends up killing the miracle cure person, the sexually insane one. So she's holding the paddles with rubber gloves, and Ryan's escaping, and all of a sudden, it's so staged. Like the guy she's trying to cure puts his hands on the paddles and just whatever.
So staged.
So staged. And so Ryan is protecting Mickey from all these sparks, and then after he's dead, the radio says, "Breaking news, the contract has been violated or broken because so-and-so couldn't get enough sacrifices in." I was like, oh, wow. So then she picks up the radio.
She being who? Oh, the
she being Dr. Carter, the female
Didn't
doctor.
the radio say at the end, like, Dr. Carter died that some night?
Oh, the same night.
Yeah, the radio says that while she's still alive, like holding the radio. That was kind of funny. Like, well, that means she's going to die soon. Did she just spontaneously combust? I can't remember.
No, she picked up the radio. She was mad at the radio.
So, but does the radio fry her?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The radio
it fries her.
electrocutes her.
Okay.
But,
Can I... Go ahead. The end I thought was really great and really kind of cool. There was this kind of, whatchamacallit, a moment of, what was it? A character moment between, like, exhausted Mickey and Ryan going down in the basement. It should be said that Jack, he must be having some work done as an older man of the series. Once again, Jack is nowhere to be found. So it's kind of interesting. Maybe he's got medical problems while he's doing the show, or on vacation all the time. But anyway, Jack's nowhere to be found. Maybe for the first time so far this season, maybe. I think he was in episode 1 and 2.
Yeah.
But what I was saying is I really like that character moment when they're down taking the radio into the, they open the vault and Mickey throws her head back and she's like, how long are we gonna be doing this? Like, is this gonna get easier, or how, Ryan's like, you want to give up? And she's like, no, but is this gonna get any easier? And then the radio's like, there must be some easier way to get these cursed items, and the radio's like, and now the news. It turns out there's been a easier way to get cursed items if you just do whatever I say. Or no, it says something like, if you just do this or that, and then Mickey like throws the radio towards Ryan, freeze frame, end episode. That was kind of funny. So this is an occasion for me where it kind of began goofy. But then once, halfway through or whatever, I realized that, well, I didn't, Beth did, and she told me.
It was very confusing.
Confusing, yeah, when she realized and revealed to me that, it's sacrifice for a gain, sacrifice for a gain. I'm like, oh, okay, this is kind of fun, and I'm going to go as high as whatever, My thumbage isn't going to be all the way up, but it'll be like in between the 10 and 11. It was like half of a thumb for a while, but I really love the old radio and the old radio aspect, and it was just turned out to be fun, and having the radio just predict what's going to happen, and then it happens, and So almost a full thumb, what I say
Between 10 and 11.
10, 11 on the old clockaroony for me.
So I'm going to give it an almost full thumb. So if the halfway mark is 6 and the full is 12.
No, the halfway mark would be 9.
If 6 is a full thumbs down.
Oh yeah.
And 12 is a full thumbs up.
Yeah.
I'm going to get it 11.55. So not quite a full thumbs up because I don't like the snakes in the beginning. That was kind of a phobia of mine.
Oh.
But other than that, I agree with Nate. A good old time radio was just fun
Yeah.
how the radio was predicting everything that would happen.
And what's great about the voice on it, it wasn't like sinister. It was kind of just kind of a boring radio voice. So I like the fact that it, could have been, they could have made it like some sinister
No, it was
voice,
just an
but
everyday
it was just
person.
such a just
Kind of cheerful almost.
that's what was fun about it. Like it was almost cheerful, saying all this horrendous stuff or whatever. And then every now and then there was the old 40s, 30s music. So I appreciated that, being a fan of that era of music and among
Big
other
band.
things.
There's the word I was looking
like
for, big band.
World War II era music. So
Yeah. Well, I guess our thumbs are kind of equal on this one then, huh?
pretty much kind of
So
equal.
what do we get to watch next?
So the next one we're gonna be watching and letting you people know what we think about it will be Tails I Live, Heads You Die. That's a funny title.
Tails I Live, Heads You Die.
Which means that it benefits the flipper either way. You get it?
I'm gonna say it's a double-sided coin.
Did we even have a guess for it now, the news? No, probably not.
Oh, I was thinking a microphone.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, pretty close. I can't remember if maybe I ripped off your guess.
Maybe we both agreed.
So what do you guess for the
A
next
coin,
one?
a cursed coin.
Yep. I think that too.
But I'm not sure if it's gonna always be double-sided, like the double-headed coin where you always call heads because it's gonna be heads.
It might be some different gimmick.
It might.
If it's cursed, it'll land how it wants or something. I don't know.
It might have heads and tails, but I'm gonna call it a coin.
Four-sided coin.
No, not a four-sided coin. Well, because you know how the tail can turn into a head, like it's gonna change itself.
Oh, that'd be funny. That'd be cool in the era of, this is before the era of morphing, but that would have been cool. Have slow motion coin flipping in the air and then the tail turn the head or vice versa in the flip. That'd be funny.
But yeah, that's what do you think? Do you agree?
I rip off yours. It'll be a cursed coin.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll figure that out later, kids, and thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. Catch you on the next one.